Verstappen trying to beat Norris. He comes across the line. He's done it! What a lap time!
Kyllä arvioi sen täysin väärin ja nyt kun tuolta lähtee tuo yksi pulma.
Formula One has just entered its most dangerous era, but the threat isn't speed. It's a fundamental betrayal of racing itself. Max Verstappen is calling it anti-racing, while Lewis Hamilton warns the complexity is now beyond human understanding. The pinnacle of motorsport has been replaced by a battery world championship, where software, not skill, determines the winner. Today, we expose the secret boardroom scramble to save a sport in total freefall. To see the rot in the 2026 rulebook, you only have to look at one corner, the iconic 130R at Suzuka. It used to be a high-speed battleground where drivers took massive risks to find a tenth of a second. But in 2026, 130R became a high-speed charging station. Instead of full commitment, we now hear the car's superclip mid-corner. Drivers are experiencing a sudden, violent loss of engine power, almost as if the engine is seizing up, as the hybrid system derates. Max Verstappen was caught on telemetry losing 50 km per hour just by lifting his foot to recharge energy for the main straight. Even worse, Franco Colapinto lost a staggering 98 km per hour through the same section. The pinnacle of motorsport is now cornering at the same speeds as Formula 2. The FIA claims these rules are for safety, but for the drivers, it's a mental cage. It comes down to a bizarre reality.
I've never experienced that in my life.
I was surprised. I mean, I was struggling with power.
There are many boxes to tick. You just got to take it on the chin, I guess. A disaster, I would say.
The only way to go faster on the straight is to purposely go slower in the corners. Because the 2026 batteries only have a 4 megajoule capacity per lap, they can't deploy power every time a driver touches the gas.
It's the last lap, and the safety car pulls off, but no one is allowed to pass Mika Häkkinen before the line.
To manage this, the FIA mandates a strict sequence. To trigger energy-saving mode after a corner, a driver must hold the throttle at exactly 98%.
Here comes Lewis Hamilton though, down the back straight. He's got a slipstream. He almost touches Verstappen. They almost make contact.
If you push to 100%, you dump a burst of energy for 1 full second. But here is the trap. If the car snaps, if a driver has even a tiny moment of oversteer and lifts their foot just 1%,
strange thing from the car, we spoke about it on commentary, the sudden rear lock.
The whole sequence resets.
Made out of Kevlar, so that it's nearly impossible to rupture during an accident and causing burning fuel to spill onto the driver.
By trying to save the car from a crash, the driver is forced to burn another full second of precious battery power.
Quicker. Oh, off the road, into the barrier. Max Verstappen in the Red Bull.
This is exactly how Charles Leclerc lost half a second on the back straight in China. Not because of a bad exit, but because a tiny correction reset his software and emptied his battery. This rule has officially killed the ragged edge of qualifying. In the V10 era, drivers like Mark Webber could put a Jaguar on the second row just by taking extra risks. Today, the software punishes you for being too good. Oscar Piastri highlighted this during the Australian GP.
Yeah, we had a bit of an issue out of the pits.
Stating that the better he drove, the slower his lap times became. He had to artificially reduce his cornering speeds just to keep the computer happy for the straights. Drivers are human beings. They cannot physically feel a 2% difference in throttle pressure through their racing boots. So instead of driving by feel and instinct, they are being asked to manage a software quota.
Braking. Yeah, rear axle's gone straight away.
If you push the limit and risk a 1% throttle drop, you ruin your entire lap. The disaster doesn't stop at qualifying.
Not even the cat-like reactions of Max Verstappen could do anything in that scenario. Like the hand.
It starts before the race even begins. During formation laps, drivers weave and do burnouts to warm their tyres, but the 2026 rulebook has a recharge limit. Kimi Antonelli proved this in both Australia and China. He hit his recharge limit while simply driving to the grid. The Because he used energy for the burnout procedure, the computer blocked his battery from recharging. He lost power before the lights even went out and dropped 6 positions off the line. Max Verstappen faced the exact same issue.
It is just so difficult. How can you save that? We saw Hamilton have it in Spa last year in qualifying.
The race is being won and lost by software glitches before the first corner. We are now witnessing the yo-yo effect in reverse. Drivers are actually unwilling to make overtakes. Max Verstappen was seen waving Pierre Gasly past in Japan.
It was, and this is a strange thing from the car. We spoke about it on commentary, the sudden rear lock.
Simply because he knew that if he used his battery to overtake, he would be instantly derated and repassed on the very next straight.
And then, even the barrier hit was not that bad. It was just the wheel just snapped.
The FIA's excuse. They wanted to prevent cars from parking it on the racing line when their batteries emptied. They created ramp-down rules to make power loss predictable, but all they've done is make the cars slow and the racing stagnant.
The medical center, but all good.
How are your hands? Because I saw you shaking them, so I felt...
Yeah, it's just when you knock something a bit funny, sometimes, you're like...
Fans are already voting with their wallets.
Of 10 consecutive podiums, 3 wins on the bounce.
Social media is flooded with people cancelling their F1 TV subscriptions after the Japanese GP disaster. The data is finally proving what the veterans warned about. The fastest cars in the world are being driven at 90% just to keep a computer happy. The FIA has scheduled a nuclear technical meeting to rethink the battery output.
Oh, he's hit him! Kimi Räikkönen!
But for legends like Fernando Alonso, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen, the damage might already be done. If the pinnacle of motorsport has turned into a game of software management, why would the world's best drivers stay?
In general, we don't have too many, let's say, problems. So that's been okay.
Short and medium term, I don't think there is anything that is impossible to fix.
I think this is definitely, for me, obviously gone through quite a bit. And
let me know in the comments if you're done with the 2026 electric era. Drop a like if you missed the V10 screams, and subscribe to the F1 channel so you don't miss our next deep dive into the collapse of the grid.